So guys, welcome back to the channel, and on today we are looking at a classic, or at least a new version of a classic. Today's video is my full review of the Brooks Ghost 16. Let's get into it. Okay, first of all, let's get started off with those disclosures. This video is in partnership with my friends over at Roadrunner Sports. Roadrunner Sports was good enough to send me this pair of the Brooks Ghost 16 for the purpose of review. However, they haven't told me what to say, they don't have any editorial privileges, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And with that said, the Brooks Ghost 16 stays at a very reasonably priced $140. And of course, I will place a link in the show notes below in case you want to pick up a pair for yourself from Roadrunner Sports. Now, the Brooks Ghost 16 is Brooks's most popular running shoe. In fact, it could be the most popular running shoe in the world. Maybe not the world, but the United States. And that's according to some survey I looked up online. I don't know how valid it is. But either way, the Brooks Ghost series is a wildly popular shoe, and for good reason. So as far as stack height, we have 35.5 in the heel, 23.5 in the forefoot for a 12mm drop. Now guys, that's a big drop. I don't think you're going to find much higher than a 12mm drop anyway, but we'll talk more about that in just a second. Brooks claims that a US men's size 9 would tip the scale at 9.5 ounces or 269.3 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 13, it tips the scale at 11.7 ounces or 331 grams. Now, last year, when Brooks came out with the Brooks Ghost 15, my size weighed in at an even 12 ounces or 340 grams. So this year, the Brooks Ghost 16 drops 9 grams in weight in my size. That's pretty good. There's another mammoth change between the 16 and the 15, but we'll get to that in just a second. So let's start at the top and work our way down. The Ghost 16 is a quintessential daily trainer. It has a lot of padding. This thing is built for comfort. Can you see how much padding around this heel collar here? When you put your foot into the Ghost 16, it's going to feel like a slipper. It's comfy. The heel counter is extremely rigid. I mean, like a rock rigid. There is no bending this down, and because of that, you are going to get an incredible heel lockdown in the Ghost 16. Now, Brooks says that the upper on the Ghost 16 is enhanced, and it's still an engineered air mesh upper. Now, this upper seems fairly thick, which means it's going to be durable. It's going to stand up to the test of time. However, it's not going to be the most breathable option out there, and that's simply a product of the thickness of the mesh. We do have these laser cut holes right across the toe box, and because I wasn't testing this in summertime, I didn't experience any issues with breathability. The shoe felt pretty good on my foot at all times. The tongue, much like the heel counter, is extremely padded. It is plush, and again, that just contributes to that whole step-in feel. Now, the tongue is not gusseted, but we do have a lace loop right here in the middle, and I didn't experience any tongue migration in this shoe. As far as overlays go, because this is a daily trainer, it is built for comfort above all else. There are a few overlays just giving a little bit of structure. We have the Brooks logo here on the medial and lateral side. There's an underlay coming around the toe box. We got a big plastic accent here on the back, and then some reinforcement coming along the eyelet chain just to firm that up so you can tighten down the laces. The Ghost 16 does fit true to size. It fits me the same as every other Brooks shoe that I have, and I have the regular width, the normal, not narrow, not wide, and my foot tends to run quite narrow. However, the normal sizing fit my foot fine. In fact, I think just because there seems to be a good amount of room here in the upper, I think that if you had narrow to medium wide feet, I think the normal size is going to work well for you. I guess what I'm saying is that even though I had a good lockdown and this shoe fit my foot extremely well, it seemed like I had the option to have bigger feet and that the shoe would still fit well. The laces are a nice linguine shape. They have a little bit of stretch to them, and they worked well. They didn't come untied, which is really all I want from a set of laces. And that brings us down to the midsole. Now, this is a pretty enormous change. Brooks has gone from the DNA Loft V2 in the Ghost 15 to the DNA Loft V3 in the Ghost 16. Now, that is the same midsole foam as they are using in their top of the line Glycerin 21, and the DNA Loft V3 is much softer than the DNA Loft V2 found in the Ghost 15. So for that reason alone, I am going to suggest buying the Ghost 16 rather than saving a few dollars and getting the Ghost 15. This update in the midsole foam is just too good to go back to the 15 to save a few dollars. Now, as a product of this slightly softer midsole foam, I found that the Ghost 16 was smoother riding than the Ghost 15, and the Ghost has pretty much nailed down exactly what its job is, and that job is recovery runs, easy runs, long runs. In fact, I took this shoe out of the box and I went out for a 20-mile run, and when I got back, my feet were absolutely fine. It didn't feel like that I had just run 20 miles. My feet felt that good. Now, that isn't the highest praise that it might sound right off the bat. The Brooks Ghost 16 is not a breath of fresh air. It's not an exciting shoe, but it's a shoe that does the job. It's more like coming home to a familiar feeling, right? It's comfortable, it's reliable, and I think that is the main ingredient that has made the Ghost such a popular range. Okay, so let's talk about this drop for a second. Remember, we have 35.5, 23.5, making a 12mm drop. Now, a drop of this height is definitely extreme. It's on the far end of the spectrum as far as drop goes. However, if you have any Achilles issues, this is going to take a lot of pressure off your Achilles and consequently push that pressure more on your knees. Now, that explanation of drop and the type of runner that different drops are for is just something I read online. For me personally, I do enjoy the Brooks Ghost 16 with its 12mm drop, and I also run well and enjoy shoes all the way down to a zero drop. And when I'm running in the Ghost or I'm running in a zero drop shoe, I can't actually say that I notice a difference on my Achilles or my knees. So unless you need a certain drop for a medical reason, I think it comes down to personal preference. And with that, I think now's a good time to ask you what your personal preference in drop is. Drop a comment and let me know. Oh, and I would just like to ask if you are enjoying the video or find it entertaining. I'd love it if you consider subscribing. And of course, if you like the video, drop a like. Okay, something else I'd like to bring up about this drop and stack height is that while we have 35.5 in the heel, because of that 12mm drop, we only have 23.5 in the forefoot. Now, I found this very comfortable. Even after that 20-mile run that I put in the Go 16, I felt like I had enough padding underneath my forefoot. However, if you like a higher stack shoe, you do have another option while staying in the Ghost range, and that is by going up to their premium model, the Glycerin 21. Now, the Glycerin 21 has 40 in the heel and 30 in the forefoot, so it's only a 10mm drop, and we have an additional 6.5mm of this DNA Loft V3 in the forefoot, so it's a little more plush than the Go 16. And while I said the Go 16 is good for recovery runs, easy runs, long runs, the Glycerin 21 is even more so. It's just a little more plush. If you thought the Go 16 was pretty chill, the Glycerin 21 is like super chill. And even though both of these shoes are not made for running fast, if I had to run fast in one of these, I'd choose the Go 16. Oh, and I should also let you know that the Glycerin 21 costs $160, so it's a $20 price bump over the Go 16. And you know what? I'll place a link to that in the show notes just in case you want to pick up a pair of those rather than the Go 16. Let's just quickly look at the outsole. Just like on previous versions, Brooks is using a lot of outsole rubber, so this shoe is certainly going to be durable. We have this segmented crash pad here at the back, which Brooks claims makes transitions a little smoother. I don't know about that, but it is certainly durable. I can see a little wear right here on my lateral heel edge, but in reality, when I look at how much rubber is left, it's nothing at all. Yeah, I got a little wear up on the forefoot, but again, if you are looking to take a running shoe a long way, like, I don't know, 400, 500, 600 miles, I would say the Brooks Go 16 is definitely going to stand up to that kind of volume and possibly more. Oh, one more benefit about the Brooks Go 16, and this is especially true if you're not a runner or if you want to buy a pair of running shoes but you're going to wear them for other things, I don't know, like walking, or perhaps you use them as a running shoe for 6 months, then you rotate them into another area of your life, like going to the shops, maybe mowing the lawn, just hanging out around town. Brooks Go 16 are going to be great for that. And by great, I don't mean like a fashion statement. I mean they're going to be durable. Pretty sure I said this about the Ghost 15, but one of the best things about the Ghost series is that they're made so well that they're able to have several lives. Now you can decide what those lives are, but the Brooks Go 16 does not die when it's had enough running miles. You just move it into another life. So guys, it's your turn. I want to hear from you. What is your daily trainer of choice? Have you ever run in a Brooks Ghost? I'm willing to bet that most of you have, but still drop a comment and let me know which number, if you remember, you ran in. And with that, it's Matt B. This has been my review of the Brooks Ghost 16. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.